guys figuring out how to hide the wedding. How hard was that for that not to get out until after it happened?
Well, once we found out that she was pregnant, it was just like, I didn't want this to be I don't want to say like
a child out of wedlock.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you guys were probably already planning,
but we hadn't talked about it
yet.
We hadn't talked about any of that yet. I hadn't, but I was like, you know what? Let's just knock this out because we're going to be doing so much and everything's moving so fast. And I didn't want to, I didn't want her to be, a baby mama.
I respect that.
Like, because we already knew where we were in life. And, if we're back like this must be what this is supposed to be.
I love it too because like sometimes people's timing is off, whether it's like points in your life. Doesn't mean it's the wrong person, but maybe it's the wrong timing.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly.
once you go through whatever you go through, whatever she goes through, you guys evolve, but you guys know each other and love each other.
Well, any relationship, man, I base any relationship on, does this person bring more good to your life than bad?
Yeah.
Any relationship. It could be your relationship with your parents, your kids, your homie,
whatever. Yeah.
Anything. Does this person bring more good to your life than bad? And if they do, then great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, but if they don't, then you know that.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. Listen, it's a very interesting conversation. Should you marry someone just because they're having your baby? Now, we know about Ashanti and Nelly. We spoke about this a couple of years ago about how when they got back together and them circling the drain to come back and circle the block, I should even say, probably better word of saying, that this was going to have to be different. And when you go back to an ex, something has to have changed and something has to have been, upgraded from the last time you were there. Otherwise, you're going to go back in the same circles that you went in the very first time. And now this piece of information that's come out actually is quite interesting because I watched an interview with Ashanti and Angie Martinez. And she spoke about how amazing it was to circle back with Nelly and how great it was. And then we see this interview of Nelly here speaking as, that's why I probably shouldn't speak too much about the relationships because they always do stuff like this. I'm only kidding. But the reality is he came out and said he wasn't really, they were very, very busy, number one. Number two, they hadn't really spoken about the marriage, the baby, I guess the marriage aspect too. So they were kind of just living their life and enjoying. Okay, they weren't really going to force that issue. My thing is, why were you going to get back together again just to do this whole thing again? And this is why I said originally with Ashanti that if she was going to get back with him, she should have been demanding that we get married. And then it sounds like we haven't had the conversations. How come? Right? So had it not been for the cause of this baby and Nelly, maybe, let's be fair, Nelly not wanting to embarrass Ashanti, decided to do the honorable thing by marrying her. Now, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Well, let's talk about it. But before we do, make sure you guys like, share, or subscribe. Click on that wonderful bell button for notifications of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and loaded. Let's get a little bit deeper. But we gotta talk. Okay, so is it a problem if Nelly and Ashanti decide to do the honorable thing in this instance by making sure he covers her, make sure she's not a baby mother and that she's a wife and not just a single mom who's dating him? I think it's an honorable thing. I do. And I think you have to think about this from many perspectives. Number one, commitment to family structure. The fact that, he's willing to make sure that the family's going to stay intact. Number two, they already had love there. They were connected already. So, they've already got that background for themselves. This provides stability, not just for now, but potentially in the future for those kids as well, if those two are together, married, and unified. Number four, of course, the cultural and the moral beliefs are things that we all want to see, which is that most of us want to get married. Most of us want to be able to have that fairy tale wedding, quote unquote, to say, we want to be able to say we are committed for a lifetime. Okay. So marriage has that ability to give that symbol of honor and respect. Now, the problem with this is that if this decision isn't based on love, rather it's based on optics, like not wanting to embarrass Ashanti, and number two is based on, this is just the right thing to do. The right thing to do doesn't make it the right thing to do. I always say there's a good idea and a God idea, and sometimes a good idea, okay, all right, is admittedly good to the naked eye, but it's not God. And so therefore, many other plans of a man, but they fail because we want it to work, but don't have a longevity of eyesight to see how this could actually impact other things and other people. So this could be a pressure-based decision, right? That he knew that Ashanti wanted to get married. So then why was there no conversation? Why was there no conversation about it? This should have been one of the earliest things that should be happening, so that if they are going to be having sex without no protection, this is going to be the next step anyway. This is going to be a natural flow. We're going to flow into it, right? Because now we're rushing to the altar, right, and wanting to do this thing. But again, it sounds like Ashanti did not put enough emphasis on this demand. And look, can I just say this for any lady out there? Let's not follow the Ashanti model, okay? Ashanti is a unique person who has her own unique situation. But majority of people, this will not work in your favor. Reason being, not because you're not as beautiful as Ashanti, simply because you're taking a risk. And in that risk, you're exposing yourself and making yourself vulnerable unnecessarily. The person has circled the block. The original reason why they broke up, we don't really care. They came back again. And when they came back again, your first thing should be demanding that you want to be married. And if they're not on that, and they're not looking to start planning that straight away, let's forget it. All of this, let's see how it goes. Let's have sex to see how it goes, right? All of that is going to get you caught up and get you being single mothers. And I don't even like that term. It's going to end up with you having to be a mother, and you still might have a relationship, but you're not committed. All right, in the way that we see it traditionally and culturally in a Christian lens. Let me just put it that way so that you don't be offended. But you open yourself up to that risk. Now, of course, marriage does not guarantee any stability, because of course people can be fools in marriage. But at least that person was intentional in dealing with you as well. All right. And now, of course, a baby in marriage does not fix the core issues of that foundational relationship, which is why I'm going back to this original point. If they weren't talking about it, Ashanti, why weren't you making this an importance for you? To the point where Nelly's telling us that y'all weren't really discussing it like that. Right? All this talk about we were busy is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. In reality, right, we are busy, of course, but what we love and what we care about, we make time for. Okay? All right. So for me personally, I feel like we've repeated a similar pattern. Even though we got married, there may be some communicational issues that need to actually be rewired and reworked. Now, everybody's looking at the end result. Fine. Not a problem at all. I love the end result. The fact I got married, fantastic. Had this been 1950s, I'd have been with you. But we are in 2025. Okay. We are one of the most educated generations and probably the most entitled, but it doesn't make a difference. We are one of the most educated generations who are with knowledge at a touch of a button. But anyway, so the reality of the situation is I'm focusing on this point. Why is it Nelly circling back and not now focusing on let's get married, before we have the kids, everything like that? Why is that not his plan immediately? And then on the other side, I'm asking myself, Ashanti, why isn't your plan to make sure you got boundaries that, hey, I'm not about to get back into the situation unless X, Y, and Z? It's given we kind of fell into it, and we don't embarrass ourselves again because everyone's talking about Nelly and Ashanti all over again, and I don't want to lose that aspect. Now, of course, he said she's a good woman and he loves her, and I do believe that. I truly do. I'm just saying, let's be intentional. Because if marriage wasn't something that you wanted, you didn't have to get married. But the problem is, we had Ashanti talk about it so many times, and she spoke about almost like manifesting it on Angie podcast. This is not a manifestation. There's nothing manifesting about it. She fell pregnant. You didn't want to embarrass her. This is what I'm saying to you about two different stories. We didn't hear that it was like by accidents that Ashanti is now getting married. It was almost like I manifested it. I talked about it. I did this, I did that. But really and truly, no, that's not what happened. Big man didn't want to embarrass you. And I don't know, is that enough for someone who wants to marry you? It can be. Listen, if he truly loves you and truly cares about you, it can be. You know what I'm saying to you? The beginning doesn't always match the end. But a lot of times the beginning does match the end. That's not always, but a lot of times it does. Because oftentimes people don't want to grow and learn. So the question is, has Nelly grown? Has Ashanti grown? Are we going to be circling the drain once more again? And this is a question for you who's listening and watching. Whilst we may judge Nelly and Ashanti and have our own opinions, which I do as well, okay, I'm asking myself as I watch this, am I intentional? And then I'm asking myself, if I was to circle the drain with anybody that I've already done a thing with, what do I need to be different in order to go forward? Because we can't go around like we are Israel going around the wilderness for 40 years. We can't do that. That's wasted time and delaying ourselves. And getting married, whilst I believe is the objective, I'm not getting married just to say I got married, because then I can end up in a relationship where 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, it breaks down because we just got married to get married. You know what I'm saying too? So what's really important is the lessons that you're actually learning. I love the fact that Nelly was protective enough to make sure that she wasn't going to be exposed. But what I'm saying for you is make sure you're intentional. If your desire is to be married and that person hasn't spoken about marriage, you need to bring it up. What are we saying about it? They might tell you, listen, I'll do it when I want to do it. All right, cool. If we're going to do it when we're going to do it, You know what I'm saying to you? Maybe I need to reconsider what my position in the relationship. Am I saying you got to force men? No, but I'm saying to you, you got to hold a boundary. If you don't, and you don't hold that boundary yourself, right, and hold those values, trust me, your time will be wasted. Place a demand on the individual. Men do it to women all the time, right? They may not say it out loud, but we place a demand on you. We want to see what kind of woman you are. You should be placing a demand on me. If you know that you can't date for more than a year without then it becoming about marriage, then don't try to pretend as if you can. You're gonna waste your time and waste my time, and I'm gonna waste your time. You're gonna waste my time, and we're gonna waste each other's time. You're gonna complain about it later on. Let's not do that. Okay, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that wonderful bell button for the notification of the upload. But I want to let you guys know, listen, if you are struggling with relationships and you're struggling to get these things nailed, then listen, this is the time to reach out to me. We are taking a few people. We haven't fully opened. We are opening in April. All my diary will be open fully. But I want to let you guys know, we are here to help you guys. Okay, we're here to help you. All right, you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. I appreciate you guys. Stay locked, loaded. We'll see you again soon for another video.